storm had passed just before dawn, leaving the farm covered in untouched, perfect snow. The kind that made everything look clean, quiet, and safe. Old Farmer Briggs stepped out onto the porch, boots crunching into the first fresh layer. But Rusty stopped cold. The dog's ears pricked up, his body stiffening like a pulled wire. "What is it, boy?" Briggs muttered. Then he saw them. Footsteps. Not his. Not Rusty's. Not anyone's who should have been there. A single trail of prints, perfectly spaced, leading from the tree line straight toward his house. The snow had fallen only an hour ago, which meant whoever made those tracks had passed through in the dark. Briggs knelt beside the first print. It was bare, no boot tread, no shoe shape, just the clear imprint of a human foot. A large one. Who in their right mind walks barefoot in a blizzard? Briggs whispered. Rusty didn't wait. He took off, nose to the ground, following the prints back toward the woods. Briggs cursed under his breath and hurried after him. The deeper they went, the stranger the tracks became. At first, the prints were normal, left, right, left. But 30 feet in, they suddenly stretched apart, as if the person had taken a massive leap, then another, and another. No human could jump that far. "Rusty, slow down." Briggs called, but the dog was locked in, tail low, hackles raised. The tracks led into a narrow path between the trees where the snow hadn't settled as thickly. But the footprints didn't stop. They changed. The next print was half human, half something else. Toes elongated, heel misshapen, as if the foot had twisted into something feral mid-step. Briggs felt a shiver crawl up his spine. "Lord, what happened out here?" Rusty growled at the trees ahead, every muscle tight. Briggs followed the dog a stare to a fallen log dusted with snow and a smear of dark red across the top. Blood. Fresh. Briggs' breath fogged the air. Whatever made these prints. It's hurt. A low whine escaped Rusty's throat. Not fear, not warning, recognition. Rusty walked slowly to the side of the log and sniffed something half buried in snow. Briggs brushed the snow aside and found a scrap of fabric, torn, dirty, and stiff with frozen blood. It was part of a shirt, a military shirt. Briggs' heart clenched. No, it can't be. Rusty barked sharply, turning toward deeper woods. The prints there were wild, long drags, strange shapes, as if the creature was crawling or pulling itself forward. Briggs followed the trail until it reached a small clearing. And there, slumped against a tree, was someone or something wrapped in snow and shadow. Rusty approached slowly, tail down, body trembling. Briggs stepped closer and the figure lifted its head. A man's face. Frostbitten, pale, eyes hollow from cold and terror. But his legs were twisted into something not entirely human. The man rasped, "Help! Don't let it come back!" Briggs swallowed hard. "What did this to you?" The man shook his head violently. "Not what, who?" Rusty whimpered and pressed himself against Briggs' leg. Behind them, from deep in the forest, came a long, deliberate crunch of snow. Slow, heavy, and much too close. The man's eyes went wide. "It followed me!" Rusty barked wildly at the trees. Briggs turned, but nothing was there. Just the sound of something breathing. Close, very close. The wind died. The forest fell silent. The breathing grew louder. Briggs grabbed Rusty's collar. "We're leaving, now." They half-dragged, half-carried the wounded man back through the woods as the unseen thing paced them from the darkness. Footsteps matching theirs. Always just out of sight. When they finally reached the yard, the breathing stopped. The tracks behind them ended abruptly, as if whatever followed simply vanished. Briggs slammed the door behind them and locked it. Rusty stood guard the entire night. And when morning came, there were no new prints in the snow. Except one, right at Briggs' porch step. A single footprint. Bare, enormous, facing the house.